Hi, everyone. It is Sunday evening. You know what that means. It's region weather meteorologist Matt Wintz. A little bit early here this evening. We're on the ball. We're back from vacation and ready to go. Hopefully, most of you didn't realize that we were on vacation last week. We kept the posts coming, but we're back to full throttle this week. And an active week to do so. There are several weather systems coming our way. We've already dealt with kind of this parade of storm systems over the weekend. But this week gets really interesting. There's a big pattern change at the end of the week that continues to show up in the modeling. So we'll talk about that. We're also going to talk some good news finally. I know a lot of you have been waiting. It's been kind of a when are we going to get to spring kind of week or 2 weeks around here. And I think we're finally going to get to spring. There's going to be some numbers that you're going to like in the forecast. We're going to go long range with this out towards the 10 to 14 day range. So we'll talk about that. And it's just good to be back. It's good to be back with you guys. I'll probably, say a bunch of things that don't make sense because I haven't done weather for a week. So we'll shake off the old rust. We'll see how it goes here on this Sunday evening edition of Region Weather Live. And welcome back, everybody. Jeff, Rhonda, Deshaun, Mark, Ann, hello. Thank you for joining us here on this Sunday night. I hope you guys had a great weekend. Mark brings up a question I'm going to get to right off the bat. He asks, when are we going to get some sunny days? Mark, we have some sunshine coming. It's just going to take a little bit of time. We get these little peaks now between systems. But boy, I really think you're going to like the long-term forecast. So we'll talk about that. Operationally, we need to thank our sponsors, Grieger's, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Valparaiso. If you haven't heard, they've been our sponsor, and they're going to be all the way through summer. We love them, not just from a sponsorship side to keep things free for you and to keep our costs down in terms of subscriptions and cameras and equipment and stuff like that. But they're just a wonderful business, family-owned business to work with. If you need a new Jeep, they've got the new Wagoneer in stock. They also have all sorts of Jeep options for you, which is just as much a summertime vehicle as a wintertime vehicle. So pay them a visit. Also need to thank Tiger Plumbing out of the Highland area. Tiger Plumbing, family-owned business as well. It's been a pleasure to work with them. We've actually had a couple people that have gone to them in the last week and said they love them to death, and they come out. If you have any plumbing problems whatsoever, they come out. They don't charge trip fees to come out and see what the problem is. A lot of places charge $99 for that. They don't. And besides, they're just wonderful people to work with. So if you have any plumbing need, I know that's not something that comes up all the time, but when it does, reach out to Tiger Plumbing. It's tigerplumbing.net. Okay, other operational thing. We said when I last saw you last Sunday night, I wanted to thank you guys. So many of you have sent stars over the last couple months. That's something Facebook does. I do appreciate it. So I want to thank you back. So what we're doing, again, I have everyone's name written down from last week. We're going to do it again this week. We're going to run this through next Sunday. But for all those of you, don't feel like you have to, but for all those of you that have sent stars in the last week, or if you do that this next week, you'll be entered in a drawing. And next Sunday night, we're going to draw 3 names, and you get some of our special edition Region Weather tees. I'll mail them right out to you. I've got magnets and a bumper sticker for you as well. Is that a cheap ploy or what? We've got all the goods here. My wife's like, can you get that out of the house? Nice and slowly, babe. We'll do it slowly. So there you go. That's what we're doing with that. All right, let's get to the forecast because we do have a lot to talk about. I wanted to start big picture because this shows such an active pattern across the U.S. Look at Florida the last 36 hours. A frontal boundary stalled down there, so they had thunderstorms that developed. They've just been getting coated with rain down there yesterday. But watch how that kind of stalls, and you see redevelopment today along that frontal boundary down in Florida. You can see those thunderstorms. These are the cloud tops. When they get cold, they're sensed by the infrared satellite. So the red is really cold cloud tops, and what that means is it's really high in the atmosphere. We're getting a refresh here. My internet didn't go down. Honey is streaming on Netflix again. No, she's doing okay. But that's been kind of active down there. We had that low pressure go by, very quick system that brought some wet snowflakes. Not a lot of wet snow across the region. Most of it stayed in Illinois. Some of you did see flakes, though. With yesterday's system, we cleared out briefly today And on the heels of that is this right here. This is what's moving in now. This is our evening and overnight rain. It's not quite as compact as that last system. It's going to bring us some rain, but it should be out of here pretty quickly. I think throughout the morning tomorrow, we'll see improving conditions. Not a big deal with this one moving in tonight. Out towards the west, you notice a lot of action as well. System coming into the Pacific Northwest. That's going to be our game changer later this week. And get used to that system, because that system is going to take its time getting out of here. So if I had to give you a big picture for what this week looks like, we'll get into the details of it. But if I had to give you a big picture for how this week looks, we're going to have warmer temps. So we're going to have a lot of 50s in the forecast, which is great. That's our average this time of year. Our average is anywhere from 56 to 54 across the viewing area. So we're going to be up near average, which is going to feel nice compared to where we've been. But we've got this really sluggish area of low pressure that's going to move in, and it is going to sit and spin over the eastern half of the country for much of the latter half of the week. It's going to be one of those annoying systems. It's going to bring cool air with it. We're going to have some snow with it as well. But once we get that thing out of here, boy, does it look to warm up. It's like the light at the end of the tunnel. So let's show you what we mean. We'll get you through the near term first. This is the forecast model for the rain that's moving in now. This is kind of how it's going to result on radar tonight. You can see how the rain moves in. It's just a general light to moderate rain at times. Not expecting any wet snow to mix in with this at all. We're too warm for that. Our last post, we had the overnight lows expected tonight, generally near 40 degrees, depending on where you are. Rain moves through. This is tomorrow morning. The bulk of the rain's out, but we still have some scattered showers around. So we will have some run of the wipers as you're heading out. I almost knocked over my water bottle. Some running of the wipers as you're going out to work tomorrow morning. And then this low goes through, and there's not really that much cold air behind it. It just stays kind of cool, but not too bad, not compared to where we've been. That rain clears out. Another system comes in from the south Tuesday. Very active pattern, right? This one will swipe us with some rain. Again, that doesn't look to be too big of a deal. And then at the end here, you see this little line coming in. This is attached to a bigger low pressure that went out in the Pacific now. And that thing is going to wind up like a top, and it's going to sit across the country, especially the eastern half of the country later this week. So what's that look like? Well, let's get into it. It's probably the first time I've ever shown the GFS first. This is the model I actually like for the forecast this week. So this is how it's going to play out big picture wise. So here's our system tonight. That moves through, no problem. Here's our little south swiper system that goes through on Tuesday. You can see how the showers barely get here. But by the time those showers are leaving from that low, here's our low pressure that's going to be the game changer. For bad at first, and then for good after that. So I'll explain why. So as we get it into Tuesday, remember we have some shower chances around Tuesday. It's spring. That's what happens. We get showers almost every day, it seems like. Wednesday, or this is Tuesday night and a Wednesday, we get a more formidable line of rain in here. That's going to be along a frontal boundary. We'll have a little bit more wind with it. So Tuesday night into Wednesday is really our first, I guess, active storm system. We've got these little piddly storms with some rain. Storm systems with some rain, but this one will have a little bit more gusto to it. So that moves in Tuesday night, Wednesday. Wednesday will likely be dealing with rain with dropping temperatures in the afternoon. You can see how this low pressure is really winding up, and it's not moving real fast. It's going to get cut off from the main flow of the jet stream. You look how the frontal boundary by Thursday is well off towards the East Coast. You think the moisture would leave us, but no, this low is getting trapped, and it's just going to sit and spin. So what's that mean for us? Tuesday night, Wednesday, we get a good dose of rain. It should end sometime Wednesday afternoon, and then we'll go dry for a little bit, but the temperatures will be falling. And by Thursday, what we're going to do, we're going to be on the backside of this curlicue, and this is the low that's going to take some time to get out of here. It's going to be a real annoyer, I'm telling you. So what's going to happen on Thursday is we'll probably see increasing clouds, and we'll deal with showers, like convective showers where like shower. You might get some graupel. That's those Dippin' Dots back into the forecast Thursday afternoon, Thursday night. And then eventually that thing's just going to sit over us on Friday and Saturday. And eventually that cold air starts to really pay off. And a lot of that rain is going to turn into snowflakes as it looks right now, or some graupel. So that's what we're dealing with. So there's Thursday. Friday, this thing is still sitting in the Great Lakes, just awful. I mean, you get cold air all the way down to the Gulf Coast. They're going to be freezing down in Tennessee as well. They may have some snowflakes in North Carolina. This thing is going to be just one of those systems that we just want to get out of here. Okay. So that arrives. The coldest part and the kind of the annoying part of it, where it's just cloudy and gross, is going to be Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, unfortunately. So we're up to Friday. The GFS showing mainly snow showers over us. Not expecting a lot in terms of accumulation at this point. If we get some of the snow showers at night, yeah, you may wake up with a coating, but during the day, most of that should be confined to grassy or elevated surfaces. And then as we get into Saturday, we're still dealing with cold air. We're dealing with some lake effect snow showers at this point. Yuck, right? But look what's building off towards our west. This is the light at the end of the tunnel. There's a big ridge out towards the west. And as this low deepens and heads down towards the south, then out, this will encourage this ridge to not only come in, but this ridge will strengthen as another low comes into the west. So you see these red lines. We've talked about those before. Those are heights in the atmosphere. That's how warm you are all the way up to a certain height. Basically, that is a warming pattern. So next Saturday is our last kind of yucky day as it looks right now. Hopefully we get that system out. The rest of your Saturday is okay next week. But look what happens on Sunday. Low pressure develops out in the plains and in the Four Corners region. That turns our wind quickly around to the southwest Sunday. So Sunday temperatures are going to bounce back. So as of right now, we're a week away, but your Sunday's looking a lot better than Saturday at this point next weekend. And then the models may split on this, but they've been pretty consistent in this low pressure developing out west. Look at all this action out west. This is a saving grace because this brings all sorts of much needed rain and snow to California, the Nevada, the Rockies, the Sierra Nevadas, up towards a giant snowstorm as it looks right now in Montana and Wyoming. So they need that, right? They haven't had that. And what we haven't had because they haven't had that is warm air, right? We've had the wind out of Canada for the last couple of weeks mainly, and that's kept the dry air and the warmth out west. Well, we're switching finally next week as it looks right now. So the west turns unsettled. It turns cold out west. What goes down must come up. So it does look like we have a big pattern flip next week that is really going to bring some springtime warmth that we deserve to Northwest Indiana and, in fact, all of the East Coast, Eastern U.S., because it's been a while. So this is Tuesday. You can see, yeah, we'll have to deal with some showers, but it looks like there's going to be some pretty decent dry periods. And this is a nice warm-up. This goes Wednesday, Thursday, perhaps some thunderstorms around. Then you can see another push, says the GFS, into next weekend. So this is going to be a prolonged push of warm air that looks like it's going to come into the region. I have not looked because, again, I've been on vacation at temperatures. That's the last thing I want to show you before we answer your questions. But I wanted to look with you at temperatures because just looking at that pattern, that looks like we have a nice warm up. I mean, I would guess probably 70s. But I want to look at temperatures with you if that's okay. So we can kind of go through it together because I'm really excited for this. So let's get into it. I'm going to go down to the Indiana level here. And these are just temperature predictions by the models. We'll go GFS just for kicks. The GFS to me isn't the most accurate at local temps. It's not bad. They're all pretty much the same, but I tend to lean some of the high res stuff for local temps. Okay, so let's go through time. Can you guys see that screen okay? I assume you can see that all right. Let me see if I can get in one closer here for you. I don't know if that helps at all. Okay, here we go. So we're going to look at high temperatures this week. All right, so we'll start with Monday, right? Not too bad tomorrow, 50s as it looks right now. I mentioned we'll be back in the 50s, so it'll be a pretty typical week temperature-wise. We should be in the mid-50s this time of year. You notice how it's kind of hodgepodge based on where the rain is. So where we have rain, it's cooler. Where we get a couple peaks of sun will likely be warmer. It's a game changer this time of year. So we're talking 50s, maybe mid and upper 50s on Tuesday. So Monday, Tuesday, not bad, right? By Wednesday, we start to really dig in that system out towards the west, so we should get some good warming on that. So I would probably go mid and upper 50s again on Wednesday. You can see the GFS saying 60s. We could see that. And then this is where the cool air comes in. So that low sitting and spinning over us. So Thursday, we're back into the 40s. Yuck, right? But we've been there. We got this. Friday, a little cooler. Remember, we have some snowflakes, so may not get out of the 30s. Don't worry about that. It's probably payday for a lot of you. And then Saturday, you notice, getting better, right? We're in the 40s, but the cold air is east of us now. And then here we go. I haven't seen this, but we're going to look at it together. Sunday should be a nice warm-up. So let's see. Okay, we're getting there. Look at the warmth down in St. Louis, 75. All right, come on. So we're in the 50s and near 60 on Sunday, as it looks right now. Again, this could change. Here we go. Monday, next week, this is not tomorrow, but next Monday, GFS is saying 70s, right? Cooler near the lakefront, should be a light wind, so I'd buy that. Oh, that's looking good. Tuesday, okay, it's got us in the 60s. Must be some kind of little cloudy system moving through. That's fine. Remember, it did have rain on there. Oh, here's Wednesday. Look at this. GFS next Wednesday saying 82, 84 in the Hammond area. Oh, the beach is going to open up. That would be next Wednesday, not this coming Wednesday, but the Wednesday after that. Then it has a sharp lake front that comes through and brings the cold air off the lake. I don't like that. That's on Tuesday. But look at the 70s and 80s. And then we got another bump in temps. I thought, boy, that's saying the GFS now saying 50s for next Friday. Where's that other bump? There's another bump in temps. Here we go. 60s next Saturday. There we go. Yeah, up near 80 again the following Monday, the 18th. See, and then it gets cold again. Okay, so it's not as positive as it looked, but we get some warm days in there. Final thing I want to end with is your 8 to 14-day temperature outlook. This is from Climate Prediction Center. I don't usually show this stuff because it doesn't even tell you what your weather's going to be. It tells you the probability of something happening, which is just so annoying to me. That doesn't tell you anything as a user. But if you look at this as a trend, you see, yes, the eastern half of the country does look to be above average in the 8 to 14-day range. So that's April 11th through the 17th. And the west goes below average. It just confirms what we're saying. Okay. So that's it. That's all I got for you tonight. And I hope it all made sense because it's been a while. Okay. So let's get to your questions and then we'll get you on your way here on this Sunday night. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you had a good weekend. We had a pretty quiet week last week. I mean, we had a couple systems go through. I know it warmed up and we had a lot of rain for sure. And again, it's nice to be back from vacation. I feel like my wife and I need a vacation from our vacation. We have our 3 kids. For those of you that don't know, we took them to an indoor water park, which sounded great, but it was a lot of work just making sure the kids didn't drown. Basically, it's 2 on 3. So we had, I had 2 most of the time, and I don't know. We were really tired getting back, and we're just like, okay, it was an experience for the kids. They really enjoyed it, but we were pretty exhausted from it. So it's good to have family time, though. Okay, Sherry, I hope we answered your question. Elijah, yeah, I'll tell you, Elijah, the active weather across the southern plains, in the deep south as well, they're above average with tornadoes already to start this spring. I think you hit me up with a severe weather question maybe a month ago or so, and I was just mentioning this pattern we're in is conducive to severe weather. We're not quite there yet because we don't have warm enough air. Most of the activity is down towards the south now, but April's a month that can tend to get pretty active around here as that jet stream shifts north and as we get in some of these warmer air masses. So looking at, the temperature profile over the next 2 weeks, if we do get some 70s, even 80s in here, albeit briefly, and a change in the pattern, coming beyond that, that would be conducive for severe weather with that shift from the 80s back to the 40s or 50s. So we'll have to watch our severe weather chances over the next couple weeks, which is something you could expect in April anyway, right? We're always watching that, but pretty interesting. Okay. Reed-Mo, thanks for joining us on our YouTube channel. Appreciate that. Ready to get back outside, have fun with my soon-to-be 8-month-old. Oh, I'm sure. It's so tough with the kiddos, especially that young. We've got a 1-year-old, but with an 8-month-old, just keeping them inside all the time, it's a lot of work, and you have to be creative for sure. And I'm sure you got through it, but still. Caitlin, that's okay. Well, there's a chance of rain every day this week. If I had to, I can't think of a dry day. There's going to be a dry period sometime Wednesday night, maybe through early Thursday. That doesn't really matter, though. You'd probably be sleeping. It looks like rain, not a lot of rain until like that Tuesday night, Wednesday system that comes in. And then the low pressure just sits. There's this really low, if you missed the beginning, go back and watch. There's a really annoying low pressure that's just going to sit in the eastern half of the country for like 4 days. And it's going to bring 30s and 40s for highs, rain and snow. We'll be in the thick of that. But once we get beyond that, we're really going to warm up next week. Chris, that's a good question. Yeah, we're in a weak La Nina right now. There's signs that it's shifting. And here's what I do. This is my opinion on La Ninas and El Ninos. We know, obviously, the warming and cooling and what that does for weather patterns, but it's not consistent. We've had some really warm La Nina summers we've had some really cool La Nina summers. That tells me there's something else at play, right? We can't just look at La Nina or El Nino now and say this is what kind of year we're going to get, because it hasn't worked in the past. You notice these winter weather predictions for winters and how much snow we're going to get rarely verify. Sometimes they do, but that's why I can't stand winter weather forecasts. All the TV channels do that, to get you to watch, what's this winter going to be like? And then we see, they say something generic like above average snow, or below average snow. Like, how does that impact you anyway, right? It doesn't. What impacts you every single day? Are we going to have a blizzard in that? Or are we just going to have snow showers every day? So none of that can be attributed to La Nina or El Nino by itself. There are many other teleconnection things that are going on. Like there's the Pacific Oscillation, there's the Atlantic Oscillation, which basically tell you what the pattern's like in different parts of the ocean and how that impacts the weather. All that is intertwined, I guess I'm looking for a word. And I don't think as meteorologists we figured that out yet, how that works, because it's so complex. It's something, obviously, I have my things that I lean on, but to say if they're 100% accurate, that's not always true. So we haven't quite figured out yet how to predict 6-7 months out, right? If that makes sense. And it would be such a generic, it'd be like a fortune teller forecast anyway. It'd be like, above average warmth or warmer than you'd think, and that doesn't really help you on a day-to-day basis. So La Nina pattern, yes, but what does it mean? Let's say. I hope that helps. I gave you like a really long answer. I've heard another forecaster say it's going to be a hot, dry summer because of a wet spring. It's not normally the case, Jill. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't say I agree with that. If a wet spring tends to lead to a cooler than average summer. When we go into summer with a drought, that's when we get the really hot summers. If they are saying that, and it's because the ground is dry, right? When the ground is full of moisture, it's obviously evaporating. That helps cool the air. Evaporation is a cooling process. It doesn't mean it makes it cold. It could make it more humid, but that humidity also keeps it cooler as well. Whereas a really dry ground where we haven't had rain for weeks, that's when we can really see those temperatures soar if a hot air mass comes in, where we can get the 90s, even close to 100 at times. So the thing, Jill, to watch this summer is going to be the drought out towards the west. And I don't mean far west. I mean Central Plains down towards Texas. There's a pretty decent drought ongoing out there. So if they have dry ground out there, that's where our heat typically forms and comes from with these high pressure domes in the summertime. So if they continue to stay dry out there, if they don't get a lot of rain in the Central Plains and they have a drought going into the summer, that heat will expand and that would make it a hot summer. I don't know about dry though. So kind of interesting for sure. And yeah, it was great. It really was. We certainly did. The kids are still talking about it, which is fantastic. Oh, Caitlin, I'm sorry. Listen, it is always a crapshoot this time of year in terms of getting on the field. Trust me. I remember Little League, and we would have to search fields because they'd be flooded or they'd be muddy or just awful. So hopefully we'll get some dry weather at some point. I'm trying to think, even next week doesn't look that dry. We're going to have dry days, but there's no big dry out from here. So maybe indoor gym grounders is the way to go. Chris, you're welcome, pal. I appreciate that. I hope that helps. Yeah, Maxwell's ready for warmer weather. Me too, buddy. Absolutely. Hi, Ann. Thanks for joining us on the YouTube channel. I appreciate that. Maxwell asks, could more wet ground lead to increased thunderstorm activity in summer? Not necessarily, Maxwell. It can lead to heavier rain, right? If you have dry ground and rain's coming in, you don't get that kind of cyclical evaporation to rain like you would if you have wet ground already. Wet ground leads to more rain. It certainly can, right? Because you have evaporation from it, which helps create more clouds. So the one thing that I would rather have personally is wetter than average weather versus dry. When it's dry, you can't do anything about it. You just can't. And the crops, the trees, all that stuff, it can get messy, right? So when we get rain, it's not a bad thing because there's some places that could really use the rain right now and they're not getting it. To me, that's pretty bad. Chris says old farmers say dry breeds and wet breeds wet. Yeah, dry breeds dry. That's exactly, Chris, what I was just saying. Yeah, dry weather tends to lead to more dry weather. Wet weather tends to lead to more wet weather. Absolutely. Yeah, Elijah's looking for a good hailstorm. Yeah. Elijah, are you an insurance adjuster by chance? Just kidding. Well, you might be. I don't know. That's great. If so, let me know. All right, Mary. Hi, Mary. Thanks for joining us. I'll give you a brief summary because I think we're at that stage now. I don't see a lot of questions coming in. So, Mary, if you are just joining us, we've got a week ahead that is going to feature some rainy chances. We've got the rain tonight. We've got more rain coming in later tomorrow. It's just not a big deal. It's just going to be some showers that move through. Tomorrow night and Wednesday, we get another system in that brings some more formidable rain in here. So, pretty good dose. That system clears out. We see this big low pressure that just sits over the Great Lakes for 3 days. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we're going to have a mix of rain and wet snow, probably more snow at times. Nothing big in accumulations, just annoying. It's going to turn cooler after a pretty nice start to the week. And then beyond that, what you're seeing on the screen here is the good news, which is next week, Sunday, Monday, and then beyond. It looks like we're going to have some kind of nice warm up in here. How high do our temperatures go? Who knows? But as of right now, we're thinking 70s, and there may be some 80s in there as well. So kind of interesting. Okay. So that's it. Elijah's public adjuster. Very good, my friend. That's awesome. All right. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll have more updates throughout the week. We'll plan on a Region Weather Live to kind of get us caught up on how this next system is going to evolve on Wednesday night. So join us then. And until then, have a great Sunday evening. Please enjoy your evening, right? We need these evenings. I know the weather hasn't been great, but we will get there. There's going to be this outdoor evening enjoyment that will be coming, but it's just going to take probably another week to get here. Hopefully next Sunday night, we'll have a good outdoor night. All right.